According to a recent survey, nearly half the people in this country believe in ghosts, and 1 in 7 actually claims to have seen one. If you're among that number, then you may not find tonight's eyewitness accounts all that surprising. But reports of independent witnesses all seeing the same ghost over a short period of time are rare. And a further mystery remains. Why was this ghost more upset than the people who spotted her? Flitwick Manor has stood in the heart of the Bedfordshire countryside for 300 years. For over half its life, it was the ancestral home of the Brooks family. But at the end of last year, builders moved in to renovate the manor. It's now a hotel. They stumbled upon a secret room in the roof, which had lain undisturbed for decades.
We came up to start work on the roof and started to remove the tiles and then remove the brickwork. We found a small doorway. Then we found the evidence of a frame in the end of the roof, which indicated that sometime there was some sort of attic room here.
After that, things started to happen at Flitwick Manor. Just 3 days later, the hotel received an odd complaint from a departing guest.
As a hotel receptionist, I have had some odd complaints, but I have to say that I've never had a complaint like this before.
Everything all right for you, sir?
No, not really.
Why? What happened?
I think I had a visitor during the night. Something or someone. I don't know what happened. I just know I never want to stay in that room again.
I'm sorry you had an uncomfortable night. Can I get someone to help you with those
No,
bags?
that's all right. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
He seemed slightly nervous then. I didn't really know quite what to say, and basically didn't really take a lot of notice of it.
But from then on, various members of staff began to notice that something had changed at Flitwick Manor. Sonia Banks, the hotel manager, was staying on the 2nd floor one night.
I had just locked up the hotel and I was retiring to room 8. Then I heard footsteps walking across the ceiling and a door slammed towards the front of the house where the little room had been discovered. I must say I was a bit taken aback and surprised at this, because I was the only person in the hotel that night.
Sonia is not the only person to have experienced a presence of some kind. Chef Duncan Poyser also had to sleep at the hotel one night. His bedroom was also on the 2nd floor.
I retired to bed at about 1 o'clock. Just lay on my back, gently drifting. When I tried to turn, I couldn't move the bottoms of my legs.
It was as if someone or something was sitting on them, but there was no one there.
Tried again a second time. The third time it was as if the weight lifted up. I was a little bit shocked and startled. It was just a really strange experience, really strange feeling.
So what could possibly be happening at Flitwick Manor? The first paranormal activity came within days of the opening up of the hidden attic room. Had the builders released something, some spirit, which was now returning to its old haunting ground?
Come on.
One clue may lie with this man. John Lyle is the last direct descendant of the Brooks family to have lived at Flitwick. He's now retired to his farm in Wiltshire, but 50 years ago, John spent his childhood at the manor.
My mother used to tell us, when we were children, that when she lay in bed at night, she would hear a ghost knocking on the bedroom door. And there was also quite a few stories in the village about the fact that Flitwick Manor was haunted.
Those stories have been forgotten in recent times, until the hurried departure of that hotel guest. John Hines will never forget his stay at Flitwick Manor.
I detected that there was something in the room with me. I got a feeling that there was a presence there. I can't describe it.
John Hines had checked into his room at Flitwick following a business conference. He went to bed around 1 a.m.
Five minutes later, something very heavy landed on the foot of the bed. Fumbled around to try and find the light switch. And there was nothing there. Nothing there at all. Oh, this is crazy, John, you know, go back to sleep. I tried to settle down again. A few minutes later, there was a shuffling at the bottom of the bed. There was a silhouette of a person actually sitting at the foot of the bed. I froze. I was petrified.
Who are you? What do you want?
No response from her. She just sat there gazing out towards the window.
John spent the rest of the night awake, a grown man too scared to turn the lights off.
I consider myself to be a very sceptical person, and I really can't believe that it was a ghost that I saw. But I've no other explanation for it.
Is there anything in the history of Flitwick Manor which might explain the apparition? Richard Morgan is another descendant of the Brooks family who lived there throughout the 19th century. He has made a detailed study of his family's history.
The first of the family to live here, John Thomas Brooks, kept a diary, and that describes the life here. It's quite clear that the most important event, as far as the diarist was concerned, was the death of a much-loved only daughter, Mary Ann Brooks, who was only 26.
This is the entry for the 20th of September, 1848.
I sat by her dying bed, watching her with the most intense earnestness and misery. And at 7 o'clock, her breathing having gradually become weaker and weaker, she gently drew her last breath on earth.
They were all very shocked when the daughter died. It was clearly a terrible shock to them all. And I think the mother in particular one must pick out as being a tragic figure. She outlived her husband by 20 years. She died aged 86 of senile decay, and I think one has to say that she is rather a sad figure.
Could this woman's personal tragedy be linked to John Hines' ghostly sighting, or the events which happened the very next night? Hotel receptionist Lydia Dawson had a night she'll never forget.
Heart was just beating so fast, and I was just begging that she'd go away. My heart was thumping the whole time. I'd just never seen anything like it. I came back into the room. I found that all the lights were on, and I know I hadn't actually put them on myself. I think the reason that I was actually so upset was I sensed that she was crying, so she was upset, which was then causing me to feel upset.
And at Flitwick Manor, the unexplained happenings continue even today.
Whoever she is, she's totally harmless, and we've just got used to having her around.
Perhaps, but the staff don't like to stay over anymore. Things have now quietened down at the manor, but it just goes to show you ought to think twice before getting the builders in. I'll be back next week with a special edition of Strange But True. Until then, good night.
Gail and Jay's split escalates into violence. Drama in Medics after the break.